Hey guys, welcome to another episode, Fantasy Football Scouts. My name's Rob. I'm with Dan and Scott.
Hello.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And today we're talking wide receivers. We got three guys here that we really like and we recommend drafting. So, get right into it. And who wants to start?
I guess I'll start. I got the big name to lay down right away, so we'll make it nice and easy. My favorite receiver is Tyreek Hill. He's a guy that I am interested in, but he wasn't my must-have candidate just because he is going so early. It's going to be really a matter of if you can reach for him or not, because he will be that high. But the guy that I'm nominating is DeAndre Hopkins, just because his ADP has been very steady the whole summer. He's going in a really comfortable almost mid-second round range, which is pretty nice for a guy who's been the WR1 before. I mean, unless there's a reason to not take him, an injury or it's been a bit of a shaky offseason for Hopkins with things that don't have to do with football. So it's not really going to scare me away. I just think that with his second round ADP, you're pairing him with a very good elite player.
Are you talking about the retirement tweet?
Yeah. It's just been a little this and a little that for Hopkins.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah, he's a little bit of an emotional guy there, so he runs hot.
Mid second round, I think that's a great value.
And it's just staying there. It's not moving. He's not gonna sneak into the first round unless someone's crazy like me or something like that. He's just not. He's not going there. There's already two guys ahead of him, and it's stable. It's nice when there's players that you can target that they're gonna be in that spot. It doesn't happen a lot, it's hard to project sometimes. People make quick choices at drafts, and at the very least, where to expect to find him. So it's a must-have, in the sense where it's nice if you're really looking to get that receiver. He is a guy that can fill out your team, and he's just as good as anyone else in the league. So, fire him up.
You're obviously getting those 100 plus targets with DeAndre Hopkins, so you know that the volume is going to be there, and really you can make an argument for him for being the first receiver off the board. There's not really many guys that can compete with him other than maybe Devontae Adams out in Green Bay, but the Kyler Murray, he'll get Hopkins the ball, and there's really no other receiver around Hopkins where you can argue that Devontae Adams has Jones out of the backfield and Tunyon and all that, where the Arizona offense, even though it's hype, isn't as potent. It really does run through DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I actually had him ranked ahead of Devonta Adams on my own list, just because I always get a little worried about Devonta Adams. He's a guy that plays really hard, but then ends up getting a little bit banged up, a little nicked up sometimes. It's not. You can't guarantee if that will or won't happen with any football player. Yeah. But I do find Hopkins is a safe guy. He doesn't ever have a Mike Williams moment where he just lands on his shoulder for no reason. He's been a steady guy his whole career. One of the few guys that's played really well with bad quarterbacks. Except the year I took him in the first round, of course. Brock Osweiler has put an end to that real quick. But be all that as it may, Hopkins in the second round for a guy that could be a first round selection if you were getting crazy. I just think it's the perfect storm for a must-have guy.
160 targets last year, which is I think
the second in the league, I believe. I think Stephon Diggs might have been one. I can't remember.
He's been averaging around 130 targets over the last 5 years. Yeah. So you're getting good value.
Second round, absolutely. Especially if you're drafting a running back with your first round pick, DeAndre Hopkins as your WR1 is solid in the second round. Absolutely. Speaking of Tyreek Hill as well, I know you mentioned you really like him too, as do I. Now, obviously it depends what pick you end up with in your draft, whether it's a 10-man or a 12-man. If you end up with a top 3 pick, you probably won't be drafting Tyreek Hill unless your name's Scott.
Yeah. You guys will see when the season starts. But
if you end up with a mid to late first round pick, like let's say 7 to 12. Tyreek Hill is a great pick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He was only not my must-have because he is going in the first round for sure. So it's basically a make or break whether you want to take him or not. That's a personal decision that I can't, make you do. So that's why I like to go with Hopkins instead, who is a guaranteed second-round pick. He's not sneaking into the first round in any drafts this summer.
And second round, he could go anywhere. So really,
he is too.
It doesn't. really matter what pick you end up with. You could potentially end up with Hopkins in the second round. I mean, now if you're picking first in a 12-man league, is DeAndre, he won't be there.
In one of the mock drafts that I did on Yahoo, I did end up getting him there. I don't take Yahoo drafts very seriously. I just thought it was kind of anecdotal and kind of funny that he did go all the way down to like 23. Yeah. So to strengthen your point, he really is going anywhere in the second round, and there's no way to tell when exactly that will be. Maybe someone likes Diggs more. Maybe someone likes, obviously Devonta Adams. So there are a few guys around him that are just pushing his ADP down and making it easy to acquire him if you want him.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference too whether your league is drafts quarterbacks early or not, right? Because if, let's say, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes go in the first and second rounds, then there's going to be a couple receivers left at the end of the second round for guys like you and I who have the first and second pick overall in the draft, right? So. Yeah, Tyreek Hill's a great pick in the first round if you can get him late, and Hopkins is another solid pick as well. Moving on, Dan?
Yeah, there aren't a lot of guys that don't need the production there or the targets to be productive, but Tyreek Hill, definitely one of them. But if you are looking to go running back, the guy that you should be looking at to be comfortable with as your WR1, he's going a little bit late, round 3, and that should be Robert Woods. This offense that the Rams have, it's legit. It always has been, and it will continue to be behind Matt Stafford. And Matt is a guy that will sling the ball. He'll get his guys the ball. I can very easily see Cooper Kupp as well as Robert Woods having 100 targets each this year and putting up monster numbers.
I really like the Robert Woods pick. He's going to be on my radar 100%. Cooper Kupp, maybe not as much. Another great pick, though. I like the Stafford upgrade compared to Goff. And I really like the Robert Woods must-have pick. I agree with you there, Dan.
Yeah, if it makes people feel any better, I actually do like Cooper Kupp more than Robert Woods, but for all the same reasons that you guys like Woods. Especially with Stafford there, I completely agree that they're both going to see their targets as long as they're healthy and they're on the field. There's no reason why they won't. So, I mean, I endorse the Rams wide receivers, even if it's the other guy that I do like. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going after a Rams receiver with Stafford chucking the ball.
This isn't going to be like trying to figure out the Rams backfield here where it's either going to be Sony Michel or Henderson or Jones. It's running through Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. We've seen games in the past where they each have 11, 15 targets, and there's no questioning that these two guys are what makes the offense click.
A little plus with the Robert Woods pick is that he actually rushes the ball sometimes too. He had
on the end arounds,
two rushing touchdowns last year. Nice. A little over 20 carries, so a little bit of a bonus there. I like the Robert Woods pick. For me personally, I'll throw out two names here. I was gonna go with Terry McLaurin as my must-have pick, but considering that we already mentioned DeAndre Hopkins in the second round, which is pretty much where Terry McLaurin is going, I'll go with another guy. But I really do like the McLaurin pick. He's gonna go early though. He's gonna go in the second round. And some people would disagree because some people consider the Washington football team to be a bad team. And there's a saying that goes that you don't draft good players on bad teams.
It can be tough. This is obviously me that this saying goes through, but it can be tough, right?
I've heard the saying. I've heard the saying. I don't think Washington's going to be bad, though. I think their defense is top notch, and I think the offense is going to be on the field a lot. Fitzpatrick, he throws picks, whatever, but he can sling the ball. I think Terry McLaurin, if you're looking at his numbers from last year,
a lot of targets. I know he was well over 100 targets. So that is a plus. And there isn't a lot of options for them to throw the ball. So he is definitely the primary hog monster for the targets.
Not too high on Logan Wilson, the tight end. 100.
Logan Thomas.
Sorry, yep. Logan Thomas, 134 targets
which
last year.
It's a lot. It's good. It's good, It's good numbers.
1,100 yards, only 4 touchdowns, but I just think that he's going to have even better numbers this year. He was a rookie last year. And I'm really high on him. So that's another second round pick. But if you want a guy later on in your draft, And I really like this guy, and I think he's moving up draft boards with the last preseason game that they played is Corey Davis for the New York Jets. Now, if you're in an 8-man or a 10-man, he might not even get drafted, right? But for us, in a 12-man and a competitive league, Corey Davis is 100% going to get drafted. And some people are high on Elijah Moore, the rookie, but he hasn't played yet. He's
also not healthy right now. So
he's expected to play their third preseason game. But Corey Davis is the number one guy right now in New York. And he had really good numbers last year in Tennessee, right? He kind of flew under the radar. He's not really a big name. Now, New York is a bad team. That's 100%. But if you're looking at receivers, usually a bad team is going to be behind a lot, right? So what are they going to be doing in the second half? They're not going to be running the ball. They're going to be throwing a lot. And, we all know what garbage points are, right? Garbage
they didn't count as much as everything else.
Exactly.
Enter the 2018 Blake Bortles Jacksonville Jaguars. They were the king of fantasy football that year.
That's right.
But to go back to Corey Davis, obviously this dude is extremely talented. 5th overall pick for a reason. And yeah, like you said, Zach Wilson really likes him. But we've seen this with him over and over and over again, where you hype him up and then he just breaks your heart. The consistency still needs to be there. And unfortunately, that might be the same story again this year through no fault of his own, because when you have a rookie quarterback, especially a smaller one like that, who can't really overcome the chaos that is the New York Jets, he just might flounder. And there are better options out there where Corey Davis is going. You can look at a guy like Tyler Boyd, who might be going a little bit higher, but they're in the same range. Or Marquise Brown, a guy that's on a better team.
Yeah, no, Marquise Brown is banged up, man. Like I don't dislike the player fantasy wise, but just the injuries right now. Corey Davis, you can get pretty late. I like him. You could call it a sleeper pick if you want, but he finished pretty high in fantasy points last year.
Yeah, I was just looking it up actually for you.
5 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I was gonna disagree with Dan a little bit. I think what the thing is that Corey Davis has been overhyped throughout his career. It's been a little bit crazy with the expectations, and then naturally he hasn't met those expectations. But if you even just look at last year, like you're saying, he almost had 1,000 yards. He had five touchdowns. He had 92 targets, and we know that Tennessee is not an aired out offense. They and that was behind AJ Brown as well.
That's
so
right.
He's not going to be fighting with AJ Brown.
Yeah.
There's not anyone else better, or like Elijah Moore, whatever. I don't think much of any of these guys, to be frank.
Yeah.
Corey Davis is definitely going to be drafted, and he should be, because he has the size, he has the game. And there's nothing to lose at his ADP. I'm a big ADP guy. I want everyone to know that. I talked a lot of shit about Antonio Gibson, but if he were to fall to me, I'd be taking him home. It's when it comes to fantasy, ADP is king. Anyone is usable at the right price, So people used to take Corey Davis in the 5th and 6th rounds. This was just mad. This is what we call preseason madness, where you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself, Yeah. He's not there anymore. He's not going there anymore. So you're almost getting him at a very free, affordable price. WR4, WR5 bench type player.
Yeah, you're getting him late.
You'll get him, and you'll have a chance to use him if you need to. And if you don't, then you can probably just cut him loose. It's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. For what it's worth, too, who's their quarterback? Zach Wilson. Yeah. He had a bad rap to start the preseason. He came on strong with a big game in the last week of preseason. So
you mean the last one they played?
Yeah. It was the Zach Wilson coming out party. So that's a positive sign. Whether they're bad or not, if Zach Wilson can at least be competent and move the ball, someone is going to be the windfall of that, and it could be Corey Davis.
9 for 11, 2 touchdowns, 128 yards. That's good.
Yeah, and all these rookie quarterbacks, the thing is, they're not showing their running abilities because they don't want to put it on tape.
Yeah.
From what I understand, Wilson can run a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he can actually do, and if he can have the ball moving for the Jets offense.
Now, Zach Wilson has the potential to be electric. Think Johnny Manziel. That's kind of how he plays the game. A smaller guy that's gonna run around and play a little backyard football. Might not be the prettiest thing for Corey Davis, but you never know, right?
He had 4 catches, 70 yards in the last preseason game. Corey Davis
Which is
did,
it's
not
huge.
too bad.
Puts you on the radar. People notice.
Probably only played maybe a half at most. Right?
Probably not even that much.
Yeah.
Probably 16 snaps or something like
Yeah,
that.
so-
They didn't play too much.
I mean, preseason, it is what it is. But I do like the Corey Davis pick late.
Oh, yeah.
Elijah Moore's going a little bit later. But yeah, I just think that they're going to be throwing a lot, especially in the second halves of games. So some garbage time. Corey Davis, not a bad pick at all.
Yeah.
So that's what we got. We got 3 must-haves. I got Corey Davis. Dan, you got
Robert Woods. Almost forgot there.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey, you can have all these guys if you really believe in us. So there you go. They're all going at different ADPs, so it's not a choice.
Perfect. That's perfect. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Ciao.